Two former users of OnlyFans. I don't know if I really believe they're former users, but nonetheless, they have launched a class action lawsuit against the service claiming that they were defrauded, claiming that they were paid subscribers to certain OnlyFans models, thinking that they were in fact conversing with said models. But it turns out, maybe not, maybe not. So the plaintiffs are two guys from Illinois who are named in this lawsuit as M. Brunner and J. Fry. They thought the actual models that they were subscribed to were communicating with them through direct messages, video clips. They say that had they known that was not the case, that they were actually talking to some agent or whatever, some service that's acting on behalf of the models, they wouldn't be paid subscribers. They feel defrauded, they feel they've been wronged, they're going to court. So the duo says that the models hired agencies to impersonate the creators, but they don't have proof. And that might be a little bit of an issue as they're trying to prove this case in court. Because when you sue a company for fraud, you kind of have to prove it. But nonetheless, they say they became suspicious after subscribing, including realizing that a single individual could not send the number of direct messages or videos that generating revenue from 700,000 fans in one creator's case would require.
700,000?
Are feet pictures still hot? Are people still in the market for that?
Depends on the foot, I guess. The angle.
Think about it.
Focal length of the lens, I don't know. 700,000, goddamn, that's crazy.
A lot of horny dudes out there. So my favorite part of the suit is the following. Plaintiff Fry created an account primarily in order to engage in friendly conversation with models and share photographs of his cooking creations. The complaint says.
Well, eggplant's an ingredient, I suppose.
A lot of eggplants, all right. Fry alleges that he began to become suspicious of who he was actually communicating with when he started getting contradicting information and errors in messages. But again, no hard proof here, pun intended, that it wasn't the model themselves, and maybe they just have poor memory or poor communication skills. There could be an explanation. But even if it was an agency, that actually wouldn't be surprising because it's actually pretty well known that these agencies exist. OnlyFans agencies have been well documented in this industry for years. People employed by an agency to manage creators' messages is in fact a thing. So these two guys aren't wrong to suspect that maybe they're not having heart-to-hearts with the actual models they're subscribed to. But again, it is important to note that not all OnlyFans creators and models are using these agencies. In a statement made to Cosmopolitan last year, OnlyFans stated in regard to their users, creators may choose to work with a wide range of third parties, including photographers, videographers, talent managers, and agencies to curate and monetize their content. Any third party that a creator elects to work with does not work on behalf of OnlyFans and is not affiliated with the company in any way. So I think this is gonna be a difficult class action lawsuit to win, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But last July, another class action lawsuit was filed against OnlyFans' parent company, stating chatter scams defraud fans.
That's confusing.
Think about it. Look, part of me feels a little bit bad because some of these guys are probably looking for connection, and OnlyFans is the way they feel they're getting some connection with a human being. But you gotta get off OnlyFans, go out into the real world, talk to real people. The OnlyFans model with 700,000 subscribers is not gonna bone you.
There's a chance.
It's not gonna happen.
It's better than 1 in a million. And 1 in 700,000.
And to be
They're
fair,
close.
maybe it's not about boning. Maybe it's about connection. Maybe there's supposed to be something more there.
Maybe your heart is the bone in this.
And that bone is just
I don't know.
Looking for love.
Man, 700,000, that's crazy. By the way, to imply that merely because you have 700,000 people, you can't communicate with all of them. Have you seen how often Elon Musk tweets? I think it's possible. You could send out a lot of messages. I am somewhat torn, not really on the lawsuit. I don't think they're gonna be able to prove it. I don't. Why would OnlyFans have to pay for that? If anything, the individual person would have to, and I don't want that to happen either. I do think that there should probably be disclosure. Like if it's not you, or maybe it's sometimes you, but it's sometimes other people. I mean, obviously the vast majority of creators don't have 700,000. They might have 50 or whatever, but even that's a lot to communicate with. So maybe it's you and one or two other people. Of course, I'm sure the models would not want to have to disclose that. It's part of the illusion is that it is them or whatever. On another level, I also don't know why it matters. Like when you found out that it might not be her, did you de-orgasm? What's the difference? Like you got what you paid for. And I'm not even like, okay, that's crass or whatever, but like in terms of the connection, you're still talking to someone.
Right.
What's the difference if it's the other person? People who sent fan mail to celebrities for decades and got letters back, it wasn't from them.
But look, I do have a problem with creators hiring people to pose as them. Like you are defrauding people to some extent.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's all illusion, it's all entertainment. Again, I think that I think the people, the stakeholders in this, I think the creators should be a massive part of this. Could have a talk about disclosure or whatever. Because I think a lot of people would, well, that's what I said earlier, but I think a lot of people would be fine with, yeah, you give me the little warning or whatever, but this is a fantasy thing that I'm doing. I don't care if it's fundamentally you or whatever. I think a lot of people would be fine with that. I don't know why it matters. Again, you're not gonna meet the person. You're not gonna actually have sex with the person. You're gonna communicate with them. And it's a person either way. I would be more worried that those people will be replaced by chatbots very soon. At least this is human labor. These are job creators.
Let's think about the equivalent of this service in the years we were growing up, right? So there was the phone sex hotlines, remember? And the women would have super sexy voices, but voice doesn't necessarily mean hot lady, right? So is that considered fraud?
I feel like there's a correlation, but I don't know that I'm following necessarily. Oh, no, I think a better example of what you're saying is that the advertisements that you might see on like a business card or a flyer or something might not be the person you talk to when you actually call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares?
Okay, I mean, look, I don't know.
You get the experience that you paid for.
I'm trying really hard to be empathetic, not empathetic, sympathetic, because I don't understand this world, right? Like I'm a woman, I'm not going to.
There are male OnlyFans creators.
I mean,
Don't put them in the shadows.
Are people subscribed to them for,
probably mostly other men,
to get their rocks off?
I'm sure that.
Yeah, exactly, other men, exactly.
But I'm sure not only. By the way, you buy a ticket to Broadway or whatever.
Yeah.
And it might be a fill-in. Still gotta go. Well, you don't have to go necessarily, but you don't get your money back because it's a fill-in.
That's different though.
Obviously.
Listen,
that's what I've got.
One needs to take the temptations of the flesh seriously here, okay, John?
I never have, that's my greatest flaw. Anyway, look, I'm not saying that these guys don't theoretically have a right to be peeved or whatever. And again, I think disclosure could be a thing. But particularly when they're like, we started to suspect something when we realized she has 700,000 people. What do you mean started to suspect? Like that is case closed, buddy. Like obviously she's not messaging everybody. But again, I don't think they should have to. I think that you're running a business. I think that, should they have to be honest in the messages they send? Should all the videos have to be? There's all sorts of artifice.
They're running a business, okay? They're running a business. These ladies are busy. They have a lot of subscribers, 700,000. They don't have time to reach out to all of
I love WWE. I've paid to go to the events. The matches are rigged. It's part of the illusion. You still get the experience you go to.
John, I respect your opinion. I do.
Thank you.
I do.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.